Numbers. Numbers and place value. Let's start right there. The definition of a number. One way that the author, Keith Crescent, has put it is that a number is a symbol used to represent a collection of things. The very beginning of this course is counting. Let's start from basic numbers, yeah? So we have 0 through 9, the Hindu-Arabic system. We have different combinations we can have of these numbers. Numbers are universal. Every language, I speak Hausa, for example, and we say numbers like Daya, Biu, Uku, Hudu. Those are, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Hausa language. The very first chapter of Counting to Calculus is looking at what a number is, and I'm going to infuse certain things to support your learning. And what I'm going to infuse at this point is place value. So it's important to know that we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions. The richest man in the world now is worth about 270 billion. So you know that you're going to have 10 billion, 100 billion, and then trillions, and then 10 trillion, 100 trillion, and then quadrillion. And we provide some of these, we provide a guide in my book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics, of working with a guide with dealing with big numbers, both for whole numbers and also for decimals, which we're not going to cover in this video. But just so you know, place value is very important for a lot of what we'll be looking at in the future. So if you want more exercises on a topic that is not in the book, Counting to Calculus, let me know and I can provide you with more of those resources. So in the book, we provide an addition table, a multiplication table, and then we also provide values, quadrillion, quintillion, and then Google is 10 to 100th power. So that is one of the most fundamental pieces here that we need to understand about numbers. Now, there are different kinds of numbers, and there's a video that follows in this playlist. In the next video, you can watch a more detailed explanation about types of numbers. But the main thing to remember is that natural numbers start from 1, 2, 3. So think of it like people's age. That's natural numbers. Then whole numbers include 0, 1, 2, 3. And then there's a bigger category from whole numbers called integers, which takes you from negative infinity, negative numbers, and positive numbers. I'm just listing them out here. But basically imagine you have natural numbers, you have whole numbers, you have integers, and then there's a bigger category than integers called rational numbers. If you can write a number as a fraction, 5 over 1 is the same thing as 5, by the way. But if you can write a number as a fraction, then it will be considered, it will be called a rational number. If the decimal is repeating, it's rational, no problem at all. But there's another category of numbers called irrational numbers. Irrational numbers will be numbers like square root of 2, pi, e. Basically, the square root of a prime number is irrational. These numbers go on forever, and they don't repeat. But here's the thing about all these types of numbers I've discussed with you. They are all real numbers. All the types of numbers I've mentioned are real numbers, meaning that there's a different category called imaginary numbers. We'll talk about that in more detail later on in the book, but right now you just need to know that there are different types of numbers. So if I give you a number like 1 and I ask you what type of number is the number 1? Well, 1 is a natural number, 1 is a whole number, 1 is an integer, 1 is a rational number, 1 is a real number. All of those things apply to 1. If I give you the number 2 times pi, you would say that's irrational and real. If I give you a number like 3 3/5, and I ask you, what kind of number is this? Well, it doesn't repeat forever. It is a rational number, and so therefore it would be in this category. So those are the types of numbers. Let me add a note here. There are some key definitions that you should know. You should know the types of numbers that we discussed. You should know prime numbers, which I have a video dedicated to that. So you should know what prime numbers are. The smallest prime number is 2, and then 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So I've given you some examples of prime numbers. They can only be divided by themselves and 1. You should know what even numbers are. Numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then you should know what odd numbers are. Numbers such as 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we have even numbers, we have odd numbers, we have prime numbers, and we have natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers. You can look at a flashcard system where basically if I show you a flashcard with a number, you should be able to tell me all the different types of numbers that number is, right? So we can look at different types of numbers, and that's what the focus is in this section, is knowing what the types of numbers are. If you have any questions, let me know. But welcome again to the journey from counting to calculus. Please subscribe for more videos. If you want to take the full course, email amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com to get access to the full course. But here on YouTube, we're going to release a few videos to give you a sample of some of what we're covering. We're covering all the topics from counting to calculus by Keith Cresson, and we have a math problems and solutions guide that follows the book as well. So look forward to working through this journey as well as teaching you some math history. What's the math history lesson for the day on this one? Did you know that prime numbers came from Euclid? He wrote a book called Elements of Geometry. Very good book in Greek and English. I've not read all of it, but I'm going to work through it for our geometry course. So please check out Euclid, Elements of Geometry. Take care and have a blessed day.